Part 1, The Hook. 00 to 030. Production note, high energy quick cut animation. Text overlays human behavior secrets, then bold text. They're reading you right now. Animated eye scan effect. Imagine sitting across from someone who knows what you're thinking, before you even say a word. In this video, you'll uncover the 7 hidden psychology traits of people who instantly read body language and how you can develop them yourself. Once you see these in action, you'll realize how much you've been missing in every conversation, and how easy it is to get blindsided if you're not paying attention. You'll instantly notice when something's off, before anyone says a word. But here's where it gets really interesting. Production note, camera zoom on Mark's nervous hands, text overlay baseline equals truth. Section 2, attuned to microexpressions. A, the concept. The next trait, sensitivity to microexpressions, those tiny, involuntary flashes of emotion that last less than half a second. B, scenario. You're interviewing a new hire. She answers a question about her previous job with a smile, but for a split second, her eyebrows knit and her lips tighten. Blink and you'd miss it. You ask, why did you leave the last company? She says, oh, I just wanted a new challenge. But that microexpression told you there's more to the story, maybe a hidden frustration or conflict. C, why it works. Microexpressions are hardwired into our brains. Paul Ekman's research shows they reveal true feelings, even when someone tries to hide them. Our amygdala reacts instantly, often before conscious thought. Most people ignore these flashes, but those who read body language pick up on them, almost like seeing a glitch in the matrix. D, defense. Focus on the eyes and mouth, especially at emotional moments. Replay conversations in your mind. With practice, you'll start catching these invisible tells. What most people don't realize is, production note, slow motion replay of face with micro-expression freeze frame. Text overlay, micro-expression detected. Section 3, pattern recognition, nonverbal clusters. A, the concept. Third trait, pattern recognition, spotting clusters of nonverbal cues instead of relying on single gestures. B, scenario. Picture this. You're negotiating a raise at work. Your boss sits with arms crossed, avoids eye contact, and his feet point toward the door. He says, you've been doing great work. His words are positive, but the bundle of body language signals something else. Discomfort, reluctance, maybe even a pre-planned no. C, why it works. The human brain is a pattern recognition machine, but we're prone to the single cue fallacy, believing one gesture is a clear sign. In reality, real meaning hides in clusters. Trained observers wait for 2 or 3 confirming signals before making a judgment, reducing the risk of jumping to false conclusions. D, defense. When you spot a gesture, look for supporting cues. Arms crossed might mean cold, bored, or defensive, but if you see tense shoulders and feet angled away, your read is more accurate. And this is exactly why it's so dangerous to judge on just one sign. Production note, visual montage, crossed arms, then add averting eyes, feet shifting, pattern builds. Section 4, emotional detachment, observing without ego. A, the concept. Fourth trait, emotional detachment. People who instantly read others don't like their feelings or their own anxiety, cloud their observation. B, scenario. You're in an argument with your partner. They say, I'm fine, but their jaw is clenched and their voice is tight. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to project your own feelings, to assume you know what's going on. A skilled observer steps back, notices the signals, and doesn't get sucked into the emotional undertow. C, why it works. This taps into the psychological principle of cognitive empathy, seeing things from another's perspective without becoming emotionally involved. It allows you to decode signals that emotional people miss. D, defense. Practice mindfulness in conversations. The next time you feel triggered, pause and observe. Ask yourself, what am I seeing, not just feeling? Now, pay close attention to this next part. Production note, visual split screen. One side, emotional reaction. Other side, calm observer with notepad. Section 5, contextual intelligence, reading the room. A, the concept. The 5th trait, contextual intelligence. This means reading body language in the context of the environment, the history, relationships, even the culture. B, scenario. Let's say you're at a client dinner. The client laughs loudly at a joke, but her colleagues exchange glances and shift uncomfortably. If you ignored the group dynamic, you'd think everything was going well. But by factoring in the context, hierarchy, past tension, you realize the laughter is masking anxiety, and her team is on edge. C, why it works. This is connected to the concept of social intelligence, knowing that meaning is shaped by surroundings, not just individuals. Context transforms a signal from innocent to loaded, or from hostile to harmless. D, defense. Don't read body language in isolation. Ask yourself, what's the backstory here? What's at stake for these people? Use wide-angle observation. But the next trait is almost invisible, and it's the one even experts often ignore. Production note, wide shot of dinner table, visual focus shifts from speaker to subtle group reactions. Text overlay, Context equals clarity. Section 6, rapid calibration, adapting instantly. A, the concept. The sixth trait, rapid calibration, adjusting your reads on the fly as new signals emerge. B, scenario, you're at a friend's party. Someone you just met seems reserved, arms crossed, avoiding eye contact. But as you chat, they start mirroring your body language, lean in and smile more. A rigid observer would stick with the first impression. They're cold. But a rapid calibrator updates their read. They warmed up as trust built. Why it works. This is tied to the Bayesian brain theory. Your mind constantly updates beliefs based on new data. Experts in body language stay flexible, never married to a first impression. Defense. During conversations, consciously update your assumptions. If someone's signals shift, ask yourself, what changed? Is my read still accurate? That was powerful, but the final trait is the real game changer. Production note. Animation of shifting data, dials turning up, observer updating notes. Part 4, the big reveal, payoff, 10:10:11:30. Production note, dramatic music builds, visual puzzle pieces clicking into place, then an eye opening wide. Remember the trait I mentioned at the start, the one most experts miss? Here it is, relentless self-observation. The best body language readers don't just scan others, they're constantly scanning themselves. They know their own tics, biases, and emotional triggers. That's the key. You can't truly read others if you can't read yourself first. Otherwise you'll project your own fears or desires onto what you see, and totally misinterpret the signals. So, to become impossible to manipulate, you need a double focus. Outward to spot behaviors, and inward to catch yourself distorting reality. That's the real secret most people never even consider. Production note. Mirror image animation, person observing their own reflection, overlay with keywords, self-awareness equals accuracy. Part 5, practical application, 11:30 to 12:30. So how do you put this into practice? Here are 3 actions you can take starting today. 1. Next time you enter a room, pick one person and silently observe their baseline behavior for 2 minutes. No talking, just watching. 2. During your next conversation, focus on catching just one micro-expression. It's not about perfection, it's about training your eyes. 3. Every evening, review one interaction from your day. Ask, did I project anything onto them? What signals might I have missed? Repeat these 3 steps, and you'll be shocked at how quickly your perception sharpens. Production note. Visual checklist animation, ticking off the 3 actions with subtle animated reenactments. Part 6, natural CTA, 12:30 to 1300. Want to go much deeper into these dark psychology secrets? The full guide is in the description. It's called the Human Behavior Code, and it's the complete framework for reading people, detecting manipulation, and gaining the social edge. Production note. Show Human Behavior Code digital cover, subtle highlight on description link. Part 7, closer, 13 minutes to 13:30. Remember, the more you understand about human behavior, the harder you are to manipulate. Stay aware, stay protected, and I'll see you in the next one. Production note. Fade out with lock and key animation, outro music.